welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading, and what that is every week you, the viewer, get to choose from one of 3 tarot or oracle decks, and we'll go ahead and do a brief spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of November 28th through December 5th, 2020 in order for the messages to resonate. If you come across this video at any time, if you are drawn to it, there may be information contained. There's a saying in card reading, we say take what resonates and leave the rest. So that just means that when we look at cards, it's just general interpretation of the images. It's not meant to predict the future, and energy follows thought. So I always look at cards like dream interpretation. I just kind of look at the images and see what I think they mean. So again, if you're drawn to more than one pile, please feel free to check out more than one pile, because there may be nuggets of information contained in each. Or alternatively, if you feel like none of the messages resonate, please check out either another video or even another channel. There's a lot of really great readers here on YouTube. But sometimes a weekly reading might not have too much that pertains to you, and that's okay. We all have those readings where maybe it's just not resonating. But I truly hope that you enjoy it either way, that maybe something stands out to you information wise. And again, this is for entertainment purposes, and it's just all for fun, and I appreciate you checking out my video. So we're going to jump right into it today. To begin, if you caught my last How to Tarot video that was about the Page of Swords, I just wanted to give one caveat. I was talking about a lot of different themes with that video, and so one of the stories might have struck as a little odd when I was talking about the event in high school where I was talking about the importance of how quickly information gets passed on, like in today's day and age, with camera phones, with video recordings. It's like it's just very fast, and that's Page of Swords energy. It's very quick, and you don't need to be experienced in order to pass on information. It's kind of like the router's wire. And but one of the stories I had I told in that video was about how one of my fellow students in high school had caught her hair on fire, and I just wanted to elaborate. It's funny, I was so busy telling the story that I didn't really stress that she was okay. She was completely fine. I didn't mean to make light of the fact. It was when I went to high school, we had flip phones that had, we didn't have video camera at that time. We had, ability to take very low resolution photos. But what had happened was we were in earth science class, and she was lighting a match, and she was being a little frivolous with it. She was singing happy birthday as we were lighting candles in earth science class, and she did get the flame too close to a strand of her hair. It didn't do any damage. She was completely okay. It was probably like 3 to 10 strands of her hair, very small. And but what we were concerned about is that at that time people had this style of having really big bangs that were covered in hairspray, where one little flame can do a lot of damage. So she was very lucky. But as if you watch the story, we had pans of water. We didn't douse her with water. We were able to put out the fire with chalk erasers. I know that sounds crazy, but she did not get hit, and she did not get burned. Her hair was fine. There was no damage done to her, but it could have been a lot worse if we had not contained it the way that we did. And it was crazy because it was like a 30-second thing. It happened so quickly. And definitely if we had had video cameras in that time, it would have been like, whoa, it would have been around the school in like 10 minutes. But she was fine, and she approached me later and thanked me, of course, for, for helping her. And I was glad to help her, and I was glad everybody was okay. It's just, I did get hit with water, so I had to change, and I ended up kind of squishing her around. it was a little dorky. I had permission to go home after the incident, but I had English class 6th period, and we were doing a review of Shakespeare's Queen Mab speech, and I didn't want to go home. So yes, believe me, my best friend questioned my priorities thoroughly because I was walking around the school in my gym uniform and I looked like property of HS, and I looked like a convict. But that was the story, and if you get a chance to check out that video, it's part of my How to Tarot series, and everybody was okay, but I wanted to kind of elaborate on the way that information travels quick. So now that said, sorry guys, we'll jump right into the read. We have 3 decks here. I'm going to be clarifying with the Nova Oracle cards. These are a really wonderful vintage deck that I have. I will be covering these cards in the upcoming Oracle deck review videos that I've been posting. But what it is that it's really great. These decks, these cards are a modern version of Oracle, and they have a burgundy card and a black and white. The black and white card is considered the positive. It's almost like the upright of the card, and the burgundy is considered the inverse or the negative. Even the negative cards are not quote unquote negative. I always say there's no bad cards in tarot or oracle, but what it is it's just what it's doing is when the card comes out in burgundy, it's stressing more of the less than positive attributes of those energies. So we'll go into that, and I'm just going to use those cards to elaborate on our read today. The first deck that we have is the Tattoo Tarot, inked in Intuition, and with it we have a Cherry Volcanic Quartz. The middle deck we have is the White Sage Tarot by Theresa Hutch, and with it we have a beautiful natural double pearl. And the last deck that we have is the Morgan Greer Tarot, and on top of it we have a piece of sea glass. So I'll go ahead and we'll freeze the video. If you need more time, please pause. Please choose from your intuition, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and move these other decks up. We do have 2 what we call in tarot pip decks. Pip decks is where the minors do not have illustrations. If it's, if it's 5 pentacles, you see 5 pentacles. If it's 2 swords, you see 2 swords. So that's how it's depicted. So the first 2 decks are pip, but we can, definitely read it both ways. We can still read it because we know the meanings. So, all right, deck number 1. What's the beginning of your week? Okay, middle of the week, please. End of the week, please. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, 3 of Cups. All right, let's go ahead and get your Nova card. So what's our theme for the week? Oh, wow, guys. All right. This is saying a lot. So there are no bad cards in tarot, and there's never good or bad energies. I always say energy follows thought. And when we get to this 3 cards, anytime I see 3 cards in a line like this, I think of the root, the stem, and the bloom. So the energy you're going to be expressing is this, but these other 2 cards go a long way for telling us how we got to that point. And this is a major arcana. It's a major arcana sandwich, actually. You have 3 majors. So this is anytime we see majors like this in a weekly reading, it means that you have some overarching life events going on. Maybe when one major life event starts kind of expressing itself in your weekly energy, like say for instance you start going to school in another state, and that move is manifesting in your living situation or your job, that's what that I kind of think of. It's weekly everyday energy, but there was some kind of bigger event going on that's affecting these. It's almost like the gears of a clock. A bigger gear is turning, which is affecting the smaller wheels of, a bigger life event is turning, which is turning the wheels of your years, your months, your your weeks, and your days. But beginning of the week, you got the Five of Swords. And this is a real powerful card, guys, because what stands out to me is that you see this beautiful rose, but you see the rose pierced by three swords. And the Three of Cups wanted to pop out a little bit. And when you think of the Three of Swords, you think of like a painful situation. If you get a chance, if you've ever seen my How to Tarot on the Three of Swords, it's interesting how the tarot always depicts the Three of Swords as a heart pierced by three swords. And it's almost kind of like the same with this flower, except what I'm kind of getting here, guys, is Five of Swords is a win-lose situation. It's kind of one person conquering another. And with it being swords, I really feel like it's almost like one person conquers somebody else with words. The other thing that I kind of get is that, when you look at a rose, like if you've ever seen like a perfect rose, when its petals are just perfectly open and it's just, it's fragrant and lovely and it's in the peak of its bloom. It's just, like this pinnacle of kind of natural culmination of natural beauty. And then something comes along and just kind of destroys it, What I'm kind of seeing here is that, I'm almost kind of getting a sense. I'm getting a sense that you had either some kind of project or you had something going on that you thought was kind of like your baby. It was kind of like your project. I'm getting some kind of something that you felt was perfect, right? Something that you felt was perfect. And then I'm getting a sense like some kind of third party situation came in and kind of cut it up, kind of, it marred your perfect rose. And then what I'm kind of seeing is I'm seeing that the two outward swords as being it's what I'm almost getting? There's some kind of third party situation that's keeping you stuck in some kind of painful situation. First off, you feel like this third party situation, you feel like there's a lot of talking. You feel like there's a lot of opinions involved. I get a strong sense that these are five people. The other thing that I'm kind of getting is that, typically with the Three of Swords, I'm seeing these two outside swords as guarding. Like you see that the swords are bent, they're like machetes. And have you ever seen, if you've ever seen movies, like, if you've ever watched Lawrence of Arabia, you know how the guards carry those swords that are arched like that? And not to sound strange, but arched swords are very good at cutting through jungle. The other thing is that they usually have a bend to the blade, because the bend to the blade, not to be macabre or gory, but a bend to a blade makes it easier for you to slice at someone and makes it a clean cut. If it's a straight blade, you might hit them with the tip, you might hit them with like a part of the sword, but when it's an arch like that, have you ever, if you're in North America and you just celebrated Thanksgiving, when you're cutting chives or you're cutting potatoes or cutting onions, how when you have a curved blade, it kind of has that rocker motion, makes it easy for you to get more contact. Curved blades give you more contact. So I'm definitely getting a sense, and I don't want you to feel like this is bad. You've got some good energy here, guys. This is just some challenging energy. I'm not going to lie. You guys are going to have a challenging week. But the only thing is, you know about this. The parties involved you're already familiar with. So what I'm kind of seeing here is that I'm seeing the Three of Swords, and I'm seeing like these two blades on either side are like guards. They're like, they're what's the word I'm looking for? Like soldiers that are guarding this situation. I feel like in the beginning of the week, I'll be honest, I think you guys feel like you're losing at something and you're stuck in a painful situation. and you're stuck in a painful situation that was once had the potential of being really beautiful. Like you had something rare and beautiful with the rose, and it totally got, it got spliced by a third party situation. And then now you can't pull the swords out because there's two people guarding it. Now, quite honestly, this could be a work situation. Maybe you feel like there's some kind of big mess going on, and maybe someone's making you feel like it's your fault, even though it wasn't just your fault. There were other parties involved. The other thing that I get is that I get this strong sense that you really you want to pull the swords out of your rose. You want to pull the swords out of your rose, but you can't, because even if you freed your opinion, even if you freed yourself, you'd run right into either way you turn, you're going to run into somebody else who's going to keep you right where you are. And I know this sounds crazy, guys. I'm getting a lot from this, but it's going to be a win-lose situation, and what it's going to be is it's going to be like you feeling like you're stuck. The other thing is that, roses really do mean, red roses usually mean love and passion. So it could be something that you're passionate about, but definitely I'm seeing the Three of Swords and I'm seeing the Two of Swords, and I'm feeling like I'm getting like a stuck feeling, and I'm getting this feeling like you're being made to feel like your opinion doesn't matter. You can't pull yourself out of a situation. You might have, to be honest, you might have participated in some kind of third party situation, and now you do want to remove yourself because you feel like it's done damage. You feel like it's damaged something very, you ruined something that could have been real perfect, and now you just want to be done with it, but now you have to answer to somebody else. Like you've got some splaining to do, is the feeling that I'm getting. And what I'm getting is that you feel, first off, you're still stuck in this situation, and whether you go left or whether or not you go right, you've got these kind of soldiers, these guards, saying, oh, sit your butt down, you're not going anywhere, right? So you're going to feel a little bit stuck. The other thing that I kind of get is I feel like a lot of people's opinions are in this. Like, almost like you have to, it's almost like you're being told that you're wrong, but you're not allowed to leave the situation. You're not allowed to make the situation right. And you're not allowed to talk back, is what I'm kind of getting. This could be with family, or work. But also what's striking me is that there's these beautiful red petals, but then there's these blue petals, which almost look like, like you think of petals that are decaying, like you want to remove yourself from a situation that is ruined. It had the potential of being really glorious, but then now it's ruined, and now you're answering to people. You're being made to feel like you're at fault, and you're not being allowed to leave the situation. Please tell me if this resonates. That's really powerful. The Five of Swords is never a pleasant card. You could feel free to watch the How to Tarot to get some, if you want some more advice on how to handle this energy, because Five of Swords, out of the whole sword suit, the 3, the 5, and the 10 are the 3 that people are the hardest energy to deal with. But this is a pip deck, and this is really speaking to me. But also, I think also try to manage your frustration at the beginning of the week, because again, I think this is terribly frustrating. Again, you felt like there was something that was beautiful that got totally ruined, and now you're being told that it's almost like you're not allowed to talk back. You just have to be wrong, and it makes you angry. It makes you upset over what was lost. It makes you stuck, and it makes you feel kind of guarded. Like guarded in the sense like trapped. Like you can't, anywhere you turn, you're gonna have someone in your face telling you, well, you're wrong, or you lose. One other thing that this could be is that, just to throw it out there, I'm not seeing a whole lot of cups cards, but flowers can be, if it is a relationship thing, it's quite possible that you might have got entangled in some kind of third party situation, and you're kind of seeing the other person be the winner, and you might be feeling a little bit like the loser. And it's almost like you can't get away from it. Anywhere you turn, you get reminded of how you were involved or how this happened, and it just reminds you of the ruination of something really beautiful, and it hurts, and you're angry at it, and again, that kind of the Five of Swords energy is definitely, it's a tough energy to deal with. Now, middle of the week is really quite beautiful, guys, and actually all the majors that you have is really quite pretty. Middle of the week, you got the High Priestess, and in this deck, this is one of my favorite cards. I've said before, I would love if I could get a tattoo. This is a lot of ink, so it would probably hurt like heck, but you see how peaceful she looks and how she has a book, and she is wearing a cross. She's got her ankles crossed and her hands crossed. And having ankles and hands crossed are it's a little bit of a guarded position. It's a little bit of it's a self-contained position. And I think whatever energy that you experience in the beginning of the week, I think you're gonna pull within. I think this is beautiful energy because the High Priestess asks you to take a step back. The High Priestess is the guardian of the veil of the known and the unknown. She's the guardian of the real world and the 5D. And so what I'm kind of getting here is, if something about this situation is upsetting you, if someone's triggering you, if someone's making you feel like you're stuck or making you feel like you're wrong, or keeping you in any type of position that makes you feel like defeated, the High Priestess is asking you to pull back and kind of, I do get a strong sense of meditating. You would want to kind of, pull into yourself. Maybe I would definitely say, if you're having deep dreams, analyze your dreams. But it talks about refraining from action, right? Refrain from action. If someone's, really, again, the other thing is that if this is just a rough start to the work week, try to pull back and breathe. The other thing is that with the hands crossed and the ankles crossed, if someone's trying to throw bad energy your way, I said in another video, I learned something that by putting your fingers like this, like making a triangle, kind of like this, cross your ankles and just kind of make a triangle and be like, okay, my aura is my aura. No one's going to breach the egg of my energy. If someone's being nasty, if someone's being negative, the other thing is that if this situation really isn't your fault, either that, or if it's not 100% your fault and it's someone's trying to make you feel like it's, you're fully to blame and you're not, try to pull back and breathe. Honestly, sometimes it can be someone else's arrogance. It can be somebody else's ego. It can be, because the other thing is the Five of Swords is a real egoic card. I always refer to it as the Nelson card from The Simpsons, where the kid's going, ha ha, what it also could be is that maybe you're struggling and someone else looks big because you're having a quote unquote small moment. You know what I mean? If you're having a low energy moment, or maybe you did do something that, resulted in some kind of failure, but that's every single successful person on the face of the planet has had a million failures. It doesn't make you a derelict. It does, you might be wrong, but the High Priestess is really talking about taking no action and pulling within. It also talks about if someone's triggering you or if someone's being arrogant with you, try to kind of pull into your own head and kind of try to understand the situation. The other thing is that I do see the Three of Swords is really popping out, so this might be a situation where you might have either intentionally, advertently or inadvertently instigated a third-party situation that kind of blew back up in your face, or is being thrown back on you because you got yourself into that. Now, the high priestess is saying, okay, this is life, stuff happens, but try to think about the higher reasoning of this situation. You might have been put into a winner-loser situation to teach you something. You might have been put into a winner-loser situation to teach the other person something. But try to keep your maturity. If you feel like you're being assaulted or triggered, pull back into yourself, make space between you, especially if you feel like someone's bullying you, because this is the other thing. This is a real bully card, because you're being trapped, you're being made to feel stuck in that energy, right? So don't let anybody, no one has permission to make you feel stuck at any point in your life, no matter what happened, But try to meditate, try to dream, try to see beyond the veil. But the most important thing is take no action. This is the real lean back card. Lean back, lean back. Lean all the way back. Try, middle of the week, try to mellow, especially if these energies are lingering, Try to lean back and try to see the higher meaning of the situation. Other thing is that if you can't find a solution and you feel like you're stuck, try to meditate on the solution before you take any action. Now, end of the week is really interesting, guys. You have the Star, you have the Four of Coins, and you have the Tower. So, wow, guys, I'm getting some kind of strong energy. There might be something financial going on. It could have to do with cohabitation. Maybe this is a roommate, or the other way that I kind of read it is that you're tired. I really get this sense that you're half the reason that this is a major arcana trine here. You've got High Priestess, you got Star, and you got the Tower. And the interesting thing is that the Star usually follows the Tower. It's like the clean slate after a foundation has fallen. With it being the root of the situation, I get the sense like you want a clean slate from something. You want a clean slate. You're tired of being stuck. You've had enough of that. And the other thing is that, with the Tower, you see how the crown is, it's almost like you're tired of people lording over you. This could be financial, because the other thing that we have is we have the Four of Pentacles, and what's interesting is you see a snake slithering through this, and a snake is the beginning and the end. It's shedding old skin, and the Tower is a breakdown of old scripts. The Tower is a breakdown. It can be a breakdown of a relationship. It can be a breakdown of a financial agreement or a partnership. But what you want is, you feel like you've been put in this position quite a lot. And what you're going to do is, in the middle of the week, it's almost like you're going to get that, and not in a bad way, you're going to get a little eerily quiet, because you're going to pull into yourself and say, okay, this is the last time that I'm going to do this. What action am I going to take? So you're going to pull into your shell. You're going to retract a little bit. And I'm getting a little bit of a Scorpion vibe. Because the other thing, and I don't mean this in a malicious way, but, snakes coil up. They lean back and they coil up, and you almost think that they're resting, but then they lunge forward when they're ready to take action. I'm not calling you a snake, but I think that you have been put in this situation before. And then the other thing is, it being the beginning of the week, it's almost like you're put into that situation at the worst possible time. Right? Because like a rose is in a garden. It's growing happily. It doesn't think that three swords are going to come up and slice it to bits. It's peaceful. It's a peaceful flower. And I am getting a strong sense that you've been through this crap before. You've had enough. You're tired of feeling like a victim. You're tired of feeling like a loser. You're tired of things being told that it's your fault. And in the middle of the week, you're going to pull inside, you're going to meditate, you're going to analyze your dreams. I really get a sense that you might be having some funky dreams over this situation. And I think by the end of the week, you're going to instigate some kind of change. And what it is that, you know what I almost get a sense this is financially related. Maybe you live with your parents or live with a roommate, and even though it'll be expensive, even though it'll cost you money, you want a clean slate. You want to start afresh. You want you the other thing about the star is that you see she doesn't have any personal belongings. She doesn't have any clothes on. She just you know but there's hope, right? There's hope. So what I'm kind of getting here is that you really really want to be free, and you want hope. You don't want any more of this five of swords energy. You want hope. And what you're going to do is you're going to break down some kind of foundation. This could be a breakup with someone. You could be moving out of your parents' house. You could be telling a roommate that you no longer want to cohabitate. You could be selling a home, or you could be instigating some kind of really drastic change. And this drastic change is going to be expensive. It's almost like you're holding on to your money. Honestly, guys, this could be some kind of divorce or separation. You could be breaking up with someone that you have investments with. But you're tired of win-lose situations. You're gonna, by the middle of the week, you're really gonna think about it, and you want a clean slate. The other thing is you're gonna hold on to what's yours. If there is some kind of breakdown of a partnership or something like that, you're going to take what is your part of it. I do think that you'll be fair about it, but I'm getting a strong sense it's going to be a fight. The other thing is, you see how the crown is being knocked off. You're going to be knocking someone's crown off, and it's going to be upsetting. It's going to be upsetting, and in turn, it's going to upset you because it's going to be stirring up drama. But the tower is the breakdown of something that's built on a faulty foundation. If this has not been working out, if you have not been happy, sometimes it does take that one person being really brave and saying, look, I'm going to probably only walk away with this with the shirt on my back, but it's my shirt. Hand me my shirt, and let's sell the house and go our separate ways, because I'm not taking any more of your crap. Like, you're really going to be knocking somebody's crown off. It's going to cause drama. Either that, or you're going to be feeling the drama of it, but you know that it's for a greater good. Like, things will get better in time. I think there's a song by Leona Lewis that's called Better in Time, if you get a chance to listen to that. But the other thing is that I think that you're shedding your skin. You're letting go of these old patterns of behavior that don't serve you. But I'm getting a strong sense it's money related, and it's some kind of relationship, and it could be family, it could be relationship, it could be roommate. But something about this is that you do have someone domineering in your life, and you're really going to take your power back. But it's almost like it's almost going to be a little bit game over for you because there's money involved. But you're willing to start afresh. Your goal is to start afresh, even though once the fire dies down. And you got the garden, and the garden is the red garden. So we're going to read it. It's the more. Garden warns of a stagnant environment that stifles growth, lacking resources, time for a change. Oh gosh, guys. I didn't even think about that. That's one other way, is that you might be holding on to some kind of situation that doesn't serve you, that makes you feel like crap. And it's almost like, the other thing is that knocking someone off their pedestal is what I'm hearing. If someone's making you feel like you would be nothing without them, if you're putting someone on a pedestal, it might be time to knock them off it. The other thing is that, hanging on to something because it feels familiar. But I think what it's doing is it's crying out for, the star card is the hope after the storm. It's the fresh start after the destruction. It usually comes after the tower. So, but I think it's just telling you that you've been sitting in the same garden for too long, and it's not giving you anything new. So you may want to break down. You might want to make the change that you need to change. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first. It might strap you a little bit financially. Either that, or it's gonna hurt because it's gonna feel painful because you're so attached to it and it's familiar. But what they're assuring you is that if you've ever seen the oracle card, the garden and the gate, it means that you're staying in the garden because it's familiar, but the outside world isn't going to harm you. There's much more opportunity for you out there. So it might be time for you to either that, or by the end of the week you might be really thinking about how it's time for you to do something new. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and we'll move on to deck number 2. We've got the White Sage Tarot by Theresa Hutch. So beginning of the week. Oh, nice. Middle of the week. Okay, thank you. We got 2 cards. And end of the week. Oh my gosh. We got some romance. Okay, we've got the Hierophant and the Temperance card. The Devil did pop out a little bit too. So we'll just look at that. Okay, and what's our Oracle card? And, it's funny, the Devil card really kind of plays into the cell a little bit, and we'll get to that. So beginning of the week is really quite beautiful. You got the Knight of Cups. Got the Knight of Cups, and I love this deck because all the cups are otters, and they're bringing you coffee. It's latte cups, and I think that's so cute. So beginning of the week, you might have someone kind of make an overture to you. You might have someone approach you who's really in a lovey mood. Again, maybe if maybe if it's the time of your birthday or anniversary or something like that, you might have your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend really kind of approach you with a message of love. This person's going to be very, very romantic, very romantic. Now, and one thing is that, with Temperance popping out and with the Devil popping out, the Devil is usually a pretty sexual card. And, the Knight of Cups is pretty sexual too. It tends to represent younger energy. I always call it a little bit of the Valentino energy, if you've ever seen those old 20s and 30s movies. Where he's just the totally romantic dude, sweep you off your feet and, dance with you around the room and, dip you slowly. It's the real kind of romantic vibe like that, like off the charts. It's almost a little bit unrealistic in the way that it is. But it doesn't mean that it can't be sincere. It can be sincere if it's, again, if it's like your birthday or an anniversary, or if it's Valentine's Day, the Knight of Cups can really be a romantic type of guy. But just bear in mind with Temperance and with the Devil, the Devil can be somebody who's coming on real strong romantically because they like you sexually, but there's really not much else other than that. Like they're looking, they're following their hormones, right? The other thing is Temperance really is a call to balance your emotions, right? So the other thing is that maybe you start communicating, because the other thing is the Knight of Cups he's a knight, so he goes on missions. And when you're on a mission, that can mean that someone's either on a mission to be romantic with you, or you're on a mission to be romantic with someone else. But he's definitely offering a cup of love. The other thing is that one other thing is with the knights, they are wearing armor. So if this is someone who's approaching you, just bear in mind that this person has more armor than you do. Like this might be someone who's experienced in approaching people. So the knight, him being a knight, he might have had his share of rejection in the past, he or she. So just bear that in mind. This person is might be have they might be approaching you in a little bit of a guarded way. Now, if it's your energy, the other cards are really, because Temperance and the Devil are majors, right? It's like it is imploring you to be balanced. If this is you talking to someone, because also the green in the background is the green chakra, and it's funny, we've got 3 green here, so there's a lot of heart chakra this week. So the other thing is that you might be feeling some movement with you. There might be some forward movement with somebody related to love. You might actually feel like there's some progression. And of course, it's that hit of dopamine to your brain the moment you start talking to someone that you really like, or you get the guts to approach them and they're receptive. It can really feel like, green light. I'm hearing green light. But it is cautioning you, be mindful. Try not to be blinded by those hormones, because that's devil energy. Sometimes those are impulses, those are subconscious drives, and it's also a little bit of an addictive energy, right? If you're approaching someone because you like the high of what it feels like to be talking to someone, that's a form of addiction. That's also kind of why people love to talk to different people. If you know if you're good at, the other thing is the Knight of Cups is good at approaching people, and the reason he or she is good at approaching people is because, again, they might be, if they're following a devil energy, they might like talking to people because it makes them feel good. But that might be the only reason that they're doing it. Not to say that they don't want to talk to you, but the Temperance is just saying, remain balanced. One other thing when I see that combination is that it doesn't mean that you can't be open with this person, but just know that this person is good at romancing. They're experienced at it. They have armor. This isn't the first time. It's not their first rodeo. So if this is someone who's approaching you and you're excited about it, because I think you are, just bear in mind, keep a balance with it. One good parallel that you can think of is, think of it like a pair of scales. And same thing, when you see Temperance, you see water being poured from one cup to the other, and these are cups, right? So what you want to do is, if someone texts you and says, hey, text them back and say, hey there, but keep it on the same level. If they're texting one word questions, text back one word questions. If they're texting you a paragraph, text a paragraph. Wait until they respond. If they ask you out, by all means, think about it. Keep it balanced. Basically, try not to have any knee-jerk responses, and try not to get carried away with it, because the Knight is the other thing about the Knight is sometimes that can be your energy where you get carried away with it. Someone starts talking to you and it's like you want to go full speed ahead because you're enthralled. But that gets into the devil energy quickly. So, just keep it balanced, and this could be a very wonderful romantic beginning to your week. Now, middle of the week, we've got the 10 of Wands and we've got the 6 of Swords. So what I'm kind of getting is, I can kind of read this 2 ways, because there is green in all 3 of these cards that really talk about relationships. The green is the heart chakra, and then the purple is the crown chakra. It's like the highest chakra. It's like the evolution of feeling. The other thing that I love about these swords is the 6 of Swords are completely balanced. You see 3 on either side and pointing away, like it's like the ribbon is safe. Wow, guys, I'm kind of reading this one of 2 ways. I do think it's related to this relationship here. It could either be work or it could be this relationship. I'm kind of getting this relationship because of the pattern of green. But what it's telling me is, in the past, you might have put too much energy into it, right? Like we talked about being balanced, we talk about temperance, and not letting lust play into the picture. But you see how you're tying up all the rods there with the green, and here you see a real balance of the swords. I think you are going to keep it balanced. I think by the middle of the week, you're going to remember, okay, don't take on too much. It's not your job to do all the work. It should be equal, right? And I really get the sense that you're moving on, you're evolving past that feeling like, oh, okay, if I want to go out with this person, I have to ask them out and I have to follow up and I have to plan where we're going. No, 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 no. I think you are going to be in a good balanced place, and it's going to be like a sign of your growth. It's going to be a sign of your evolution. That I do get the sense that if this person texts you one word, you're going to text them one word back. If they say, hey, can you come out on Friday? Okay, here, give me a day. I'll think about it and I'll let you know. And then you'll come back and let them know if you're free on Friday. You're going to keep it real balanced. You're not going to do any more of that, doing the more than your share, right? And I think that's going to be really good. The other thing that I see with the swords facing outward is that I do get that sense of balance on both sides, like equal give and take. If one person brings it here, you're going to bring it there. If they to bring it a little further, you're going to bring it a little further. I see that equal, and I think that's healthy. I think that's real healthy. I think this is a healthy balance. Now, if this is related to work, I'm not seeing too many pentacles. I am getting more of a love vibe with this. And I'm getting a lot of text messages or emails, some kind of DMs. But the other thing is, I think in the middle of the week, if this is work related, what I'm almost getting is that if this is work related, it's almost like have you ever had it when you start talking to someone, you get all excited, and then you start getting distracted at work? Here, I'm kind of getting like you might be talking to somebody, and again, you're really looking forward to the weekend or something, and it's almost like you're not going to let work overwhelm you. You know what I mean? It isn't that you're not going to do your job. You're going to do your job, but it's one of those things. The other thing I kind of see with that is, how sometimes when your love life is going real well, it puts you in a happier mood, where even if you have a million things to do at work, because this is the middle of the week, it's that Wednesday hump, so to speak, it's almost like even though you have a lot to do, you're kind of whistling while you work, or you're happy while you work because you've had all this, you were talking to your boo, and you're just, you got the endorphins going. It almost makes it easier for you to tackle the workload. You almost make it look easy, and you're keeping it in a healthy part. The other thing I kind of get is that you're not letting, one other healthy balance of this is that if you're at work, you're at work. You're not slacking on your duties to look at the text message or wait for the text message from this person. The other thing I'm kind of getting is that you'll almost turn your phone off and you'll wait until you're available. And again, that's really healthy. It might not be the most exciting, either that, or the other thing I'm kind of getting is it might get you're keeping in a healthy mindset. You're keeping it slow and steady, which is good. And again, I think also you're not letting this correspondence overwhelm you. I think you'd much rather you're not letting yourself have highs and lows with this. How you get all excited and you're watching the phone for when the person's going to text again, and you start getting anxious. Those are highs and lows. You're not going to let yourself get into that. It's almost like you're tying up all your rods. Like, okay, you chill. I'm going to turn off my phone while I'm at work. I'm going to focus on work, and then if later when I turn on the phone, if they text me again, good, so be it. But you're taking a real healthy stance, and I do see a balance there, which is great, because it's like temperance and devil energy. You're not letting it become an obsession, and that's very healthy. And then by the end of the week, you got the Two of Cups, and this is so beautiful, guys. I'll be honest, you could be meeting somebody for coffee. Because the other thing is that the knight goes on a mission. Maybe he was on a mission to ask you out for coffee, and you had to wait for the weekend. But a lot of us are still social distancing. So the other thing is that, I mean, it could be digital. It could be you talking on a Skype call, or I am actually getting a sense of meeting somebody, though. And I get the sense that you really like this ramp up was worth it, because you're really going to connect by the end of the week. You're going to feel really connected. And look at all this green, guys. A lot of heart chakra. But and what I love about this is more balance. This is more balance. It's completely equal. It's almost like you guys are intertwined. You know, the red ribbon is the green, I'm sorry, not red, green ribbon is intertwined. So I think that you'll either have a really good conversation where you feel something really connected to someone, or that you might actually meet somebody for coffee. Either that, or if this is, social distancing and good for you, maybe you do a Zoom call where you're both drinking coffee. But I'm getting a sense of face to face. And I'm also getting a sense of a lot of connection. Like you feel, when you hang up or when you part ways, you guys are going to feel so connected. This is really lovely energy, guys. Now, the card you got is the Cell, and you got the red one. And again, there are no bad cards. It just talks about, and with it being the Cell, that's actually a good one. Let's go ahead and see here. The red cell warns of a period of severe limitation. Be patient and seek a way out. There you go, guys. Now, I was kind of seeing it with this, severe limitation, like the Ten of Wands usually means taking on more than you should. It's being a little burdened. And the Six of Swords talks about taking things slow and steady, right? If you get a chance to watch the How to Tarot and the Six of Swords. So I do get the sense that, I get the sense that this Cell energy is going to be focused towards the middle of the week. I do think that you'll navigate it well, but I do think that it's just going to require you to be patient. The other thing is that I'm getting a strong sense of don't obsess about this. I really get that sense, like you wanting to, that it's almost like you want to do more. Either that or you want to push this along. The other thing is that if you're asking someone out, you might be really pushing for it. Like you're really, okay, I'll send them this text. Okay, if they don't answer in three hours, I'm going to text a follow-up. And then I'm going to plan where we're going. And it's really kind of telling you to chill, to be slow. Again, if you initiate one course of action, wait for the other person to meet you. And the Six of Swords is not a real exciting energy, but it's a real level energy. It's like keeping yourself on the level. But I do think it'll have a positive outcome, because the Two of Cups, guys, that's a meeting of hearts. Those are two hearts meeting. And but I do get the sense that there's going to be some kind of anxiety or a sense of kind of obsession or codependency. But keep it equal. Believe me, I understand endorphins. You get all excited, especially if it's, someone that you really like. But I'm almost getting a sense like this person might be asking you out, which is really great. But try to be patient, go slow, don't rush into anything. The other thing is try not to get carried away because it's very easy to do that, again, and the other thing is, again, with the King of Cups is not a bad character. Sometimes that can legitimately be someone who's really excited to want to go out with you. But the thing is that sometimes that's somebody, it's a younger adult energy. It's not a king. King of Cups energy. So the Knight of Cups can be in it for the thrill and the high of it. But I can see by the end of the week, things are going to feel very balanced and on the level, but try not to let your endorphins run away with you. And definitely you're going to need that to be patient towards the middle of the week. I think that's going to be when you feel the most high strung or the most kind of hanging in there, trying to hold on. All right, guys. So last but not least, we have the Morgan Greer Tarot. So deck number 3. What's our energy for the week? Oh, wow. Candle of the week, please. End of the week. A lot of Cups energy coming out this week, guys. So what's our Oracle card? Oh, wow, guys. Gosh, guys. The first deck got the garden, got the red garden. You got the regular garden. So that's really wonderful, guys. And just for the record, you know, there's a garden in the Nine of Pentacles. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. So wow, guys, beginning of the week, you're really gonna get some vindication for something. The Eight of Swords is really quick communication. Not the Eight of Swords, I'm sorry, the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is really quick communication. The other thing that I kind of see is that the Eight of Wands is like, it's that, have you ever worked on a project, or you know, maybe you needed some kind of permission from someone to get the green light to start doing something? You needed an email, or maybe you needed, you know, like a permit, or you know, maybe you needed, like, you submitted something for approval, and you know, the whole project's being held up because as soon as we get the green light we can go ahead. That's what I see when I see the Eight of Wands, and when I see justice underneath it, it's almost like you're finally getting news that you've been waiting for, and it's like justice has been served, right? Something that has either been held up, or something that you've deserved to have, or you know, it could be an apology. But what I'm kind of getting is, I'm getting not so much getting a righting of a wrong, but I'm getting, like, I'm hearing long time coming. Like maybe there was something that was just held up. You know, this could be, you know, it could be like a promotion. Maybe there was some kind of, you know, maybe there was something that you had on order that you were supposed to have 6 months ago, and it's finally coming in. But I am getting more of like communication of saying, here you go. You know, I've been meaning to give this to you forever. And finally, you know, finally the last block was removed, and it was all systems go, because you see the Eight Wands, you know, they're synchronistic, you know, they're flying together, you know. The other thing is that I do get the sense that this is some kind of fairness that's gonna, this this is like a verdict. This is like a verdict, and it's in your favor. It's gonna make you really happy. It's something that you've deserved to have for a really long time, and you're finally gonna get it. You're finally gonna get it, and it's almost like, I almost, you know what I'm getting, guys? I almost get that you either didn't know about it, or it's been going on for so long you thought it would never gonna happen. You know, like I keep hearing, what's that movie? You know, oh my gosh, I thought it was never gonna happen. You know, oh, what is it, from Pride and Prejudice? When what is it? When Charles Bingley finally shows up again, and you know, everyone's trying to act like, you know, they don't know the reason why he's there, and then finally, you know, he proposes to Jane, and Jane's mom, who's not very couth, you know, she busts in, she's like, thank God, I thought it would never happen. You know, it's kind of like that. But it doesn't have to be romantic. I mean, there are some cups here, but I am getting a sense like, quite either that, or quite honestly, maybe there was some kind of project that was held up by permits, because that's the other thing. Like maybe you were waiting for, because I know if you're in North America, everything has been delayed. You know, we've been in pandemic mode. getting anything done, getting permits for electrical work, getting permits for construction, getting a replacement deed for your house. All of that has been backlogged like crazy. So I'm getting a strong sense, and this is going to feel like justice. It's going to feel like vindication. You're going to be like, at last, thank God. I thought it was never going to happen. Now, the other thing is that if this is relationship related, someone's really going to kind of rush up to you. It's almost like, again, it's almost like I'm getting a sense of a final block being removed. So now it's all systems go. And it's going to be something that justice is going to be served. Because the other thing is that when I see justice, I always kind of think it's like that thing that you went to court about like years ago, and you're like, okay, I pled my case, and I've just been sitting in limbo, and if it feels unfair because if it, because the other thing is they talk about the long arm of the law, or that justice is blind. I think what it really means that sometimes these kind of situations get so drawn out. It gets so drawn out. Like, that you deserve to have this done 3 years ago, but it's finally getting done, and you're like, oh my God, like, geez, thanks, but it does still feel good because it's finally, it's kind of like put that rubber stamp on it. Okay, start moving again. Let this person have what they need because it's theirs, it's their due. Give this person, I'm hearing, give this person their due. And it's coming in really quickly. But in the past, it was not coming quickly because it was all tied up. I'm getting a strong sense of delay with like paperwork or something. Or something that's finally coming in that was you were due to have a long time ago. Is like, now, middle of the week, you got the King of Cups. And this is really quite beautiful, guys. Now, anytime I see the King of Cups, he's emotionally a mature person. And in this deck, he has such a warm expression in this deck. A lot of times people depict the King of Cups as being like a real, if you're a woman watching this, the King of Cups is a real, like, he's a good husband. And what it is I always see the King of Cups as that husband, like, how, when you're in a relationship, or I'll get into the parental expression of it, but when you're in a relationship, you're not always going to be on the level, right? You're going to have good days and bad days. And when you have days when you're frustrated, when you're irritable, maybe again, when you're a woman, we have days where we're not feeling emotionally most good. You might be having a sad day. You might be watching a commercial on TV and start crying for no reason. The King of Cups is the kind of man, and not even a guy. He's the kind of man who knows that you're not crazy because you're having an off day. And he's patient with you, of course, within reason. I've seen those memes where it says, if your wife's upset, approach slowly. If she screams at you, back away slowly and throw chocolate at her. I kind of get the sense the King of Cups is like that. He doesn't take any action personally. He understands dark emotions very well. He's a good spouse to have if you are a type of person who might have emotional ups and downs. But he's always a good hubby, because life isn't easy, marriage is not easy, and if you have kids, especially if you have kids, the King of Cups is that excellent. He's a nurturing father. He's an emotionally nurturing father. He would understand the reason that your kid's having a tantrum, and he would know the right way to approach them to correct the behavior without affecting their emotional, without affecting them psychologically, right? But So if this could be your father, or it could be your energy, right? So if it's your father, maybe your dad is a real sweetheart. He just, maybe you talk to your dad, or this could also be a grandfather, or an uncle. It can be really any male patriarch in your family that really understands emotions real well. Maybe there's someone that you turn to when you're feeling kind of out of sorts. The other thing is that maybe they're just someone that you can trust. Maybe I'm really getting that these are separate events. I think your week is going to be like, the beginning of the week is going to be focusing on one area of your life, middle of the week is going to be a different area, and then end of the week is going to be a third area. But if these are connected, maybe some kind of legal case finally got approved, and maybe you are either talking to your husband and he's being real understanding about it, or you may call your dad or your grandfather or that father figure and talk to them and be like, guess what, this finally came through. The other thing is that it could be your energy as well. And that's real beautiful energy, because you can be a woman in the King of Cups energy. But what it means is that you're really handling your emotions very maturely. Maybe this news, or just you're just feeling emotionally on the level, right? You feel like the king of your own heart. Um, but lastly, if this is relationship related, this energy could be interconnected, where you might have something resolved, something might have come through, and you have someone coming forth to you. Like, it is possible that maybe someone won a legal case, and now they're approaching you like, okay, I've handled my business. And honestly, I am getting kind of with him offering a cup, and then later we have a page of cups. um this could be someone from your past that you never expected to come back around, and they're coming back around. They're not only coming back around, but they're coming back around in a very mature energy. Like, I'm thing that I kind of get is that maybe if you started talking to this person when you were kind of younger, and you separated, and then they've done some living and some growing up, and now they're showing up like the King of Cups. Like, I know the other thing I get is that sometimes you see the King of Cups when maybe you started dating someone when you were both really young, and then you break up amicably, you see other people, and after you've had other relationships, they know that you're the one, and they want to come back and be your King of Cups. And that would be like, the other thing is that that would be kind of justice too, because if you've heard the stories, like, of people who went off and had different relationships, and then they come back to that first relationship wiser. But I am almost getting like it might be your energy, or with these events going on, that you're talking to your boyfriend or your husband. I'm really getting more of a husband vibe. But this man is presenting himself in a very mature way. The other thing is that he's in control of his emotions. He understands how you feel too. The other thing is that they can give you some really good advice, right? They can give you good advice. So if this is related to a relationship, you know, if this person is the one who's approaching you for love, they're real on the level. Either that, or if you're turning to your husband or your boyfriend or your father, they're going to give you some. They're going to be like that shoulder you can lean on. They're going to understand how you're feeling in the middle of the week. And then if it's your emotions, you're really on the level. It's like you're 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 manifesting in a really emotionally mature way. The other thing that I get is that if this was some kind of legal court case, you're not going to, dance the jig and, be like, "Hi, I won, I won, I won." You won't be like that. You're going to keep that calm demeanor. It's almost like you're going to be happy on the inside, but you're going to be exuding emotional control, right? You're going to keep a calm face, but you just the other thing is that the King of Cups is very warm. He does express emotion. He just, he knows how to control himself. Now, by the end of the week, this is really amazing, guys. Because what we got is we've got the Nine of Pentacles, and the root of it is we've got the Page of Cups, the Six of Cups, we've got Death, and then we've got the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is a real independent energy. It's a real independent energy. It's almost like, you can handle yourself, right? Now this is really interesting because Page of Cups is an expression of love. It's like a little expression of love. Like just it's like one little thing that made you feel real good. A lot of times it can be a little expression of sentimentality. I am getting a sense that it is coming from somebody from your past, because we've got the Six of Cups. It's like I can kind of read this two ways, guys, is that I think you're either kind of getting in touch with that emotional side of yourself. It's almost like you've, again, if this is your energy, you've really grown a whole lot as well. It's almost like you're realizing that, you're realizing that the past is the past, right? You're realizing that, whatever happened before was at that time. So just like we talked about, if this is someone that if this is someone that you've broken apart from that's coming back into your life, they're a different person now, right? They're a different person. I'm almost getting a sense like, you see, it's like this. It's like, they're the boy that grew up and you're the girl who grew up. And what I'm kind of getting here is that, I'm kind of seeing it two ways. I see it as either it's a realization that you can be independent, like that you don't need anybody, right? So if this is your energy, you're gonna be given some kind of justice is going to be served in the beginning of the week. You're going to feel really emotionally strong, you're going to feel like the king of your own emotions in the middle of the week. And then by the end of the week, it's almost like you're realizing that it's okay to let go of the past, right? It's okay to let go of the past. Here I'm getting a strong sense that it's okay for you to be independent. One other thing that I'm kind of seeing here is that if this was some kind of like finalization or separation from someone, I think you're really coming to terms with the fact that you don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. I think it's almost like you saying, okay, if I can be on my own and be completely okay, right? I can be on my own and be completely okay. I can support myself financially. I don't need anybody, right? So this might be a realization, because it might be the small emotion that's saying, okay, there's a death to this perception that you always, things have to be how they were in the past. Things don't have to be how they were in the past. You can be, independent on your own without anybody. The other thing that I kind of read here is that it's possible that maybe someone's coming back around with a very small offer, and you might feel like, okay, I don't want to go back to the past. I want to let the past be over with, let the past be done, and I want to go forward on my own. right? I want to be independent from here on out. I don't want to go back into any other relationships. So that's quite possible. The last way that I kind of read it is that maybe you do have somebody from the past approaching you. They are coming back as a new person, like they're showing that they're not the same person. They've gone through a transformation. Um, Either that, or you feel like you're being approached with an offer, a very tiny, like a little expression of love, like maybe someone's kind of, dipping their toe in the water, so to speak. They're approaching you maybe with a text message or something, some little sentimental, and it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. um, but what it is that you're realizing that this is a transformation. Like, this person is not the same person that they were in the past. It's not going to be the same relationship that was in the past, and it's almost like you have to realize that and accept that, right? If you do accept this offer, if you do move forward with this person from the past, things have to be different, right? There has to be a transformation. It can't be the same way that it was. And what I'm seeing here is that the decision is with you whether or not you want to try again, because you are independent. I'm really getting a strong sense that that you're really kind of take it or leave it. Like, you really don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Um, the other thing is that I'm getting that you're really psychologically okay with that. Like, I'm seeing this combination of cards as really being like, I've you know this is my life. I'm gonna make the choices that make me happy, and if that means being single and being on my own, so be it. And you're really strong in that power, right? You're strong in that power. You're strong in that identity. But I do get the sense that this is, I do get a sense that on the inside you're still really attached to these memories. You're still really attached to this past. But it's almost like you're realizing that people change, and life goes on. And the other thing that I kind of get is that I am getting a little bit of a crossroads here, guys. I'm getting a crossroads. It is. It's almost like, what I'm kind of getting is that someone's going to kind of offer you this cup, and it's going to be a surprise. And you have a choice of either going with the reunion, or letting it go, and letting it, be done, letting the cycle end, letting it be, you know, uh, uh, letting it be a little death. And when we look at death, it's not like a literal death. What it is it's the end of a cycle. Just like seasons. When the trees lose all their leaves, those leaves disintegrate. They biodegrade back into the ground, and they contribute to the flowers in the spring. That's death, right? So what you would choose is, I do think that you're going to get some kind of message, and what it is going to be, it's going to be a crossroads. Do I go ahead and go with the reunion, or do I let it go and let it be the end of that season, but that cycle? But either way, you're going to be okay. And I feel like the power is with you, and you're feeling empowered to make that decision. But the what you're being approached with is a very small offer, and it's just like this little nuance. It might be almost kind of innocent. Um, The other thing I get is that you feel like you're not a child anymore. The other thing I can kind of see is that maybe at the end of the week you might be really reflecting about how much you've grown, like that you've come a long way, right? You've come from being a page to a king, you know. Um, and just one other thing is that this could involve a child. It could involve a child. And what it may mean is that, also what it might mean is that you could also be contemplating remaining independent for you and your child, right? Like, I know that sounds funny to say, but it's quite true. Sometimes when there's definitely women who have been through either divorce or have children on their own, single moms, that, having a relationship on top of raising a child is not what they want. It's not what they want. Like it's a lot of work, and some moms, and more power to you. I really think if I were a single mom, I would probably consider this as well, because if I want to make my child the priority and I don't want another relationship to interfere with that, then I could say, okay, look, I'm not looking to date again until my child's 18, I at least want to take a few years off and just let it be me and my child, because their upbringing is important to me, and I want it to be a time between us. So that's possible. I'm kind of seeing this like, it's almost like a metamorphosis, where you want it. You're not going to let any other relationships come back in order to make a child a priority. But either way, this is real positive energy. Either way, the Nine of Pentacles crowns the energy. So you're going to be really strong. You're going to be feeling really strong. You're going to be feeling really independent. The other thing is that I just feel like it's a sense of transformation. The other thing that I get is that you're very financially independent too. It's almost like at the end of the week, maybe if it is just you and your child, you're going to feel like, okay, I've got the money to take care of you. It's just you and me, kid. And, you're just, again, I'm hearing you've come a long way, baby. Like you just feel like you're in a good place. You're in a strong place. You're in a strong place emotionally. You know what you want. You know where your priorities are. But, and you got the garden. This is really beautiful. This is number 12. And let's go ahead and see here. So card number 12, the garden, it says the garden represents a peaceful, growing environment, cultivating resources, and harvesting good. Oh my gosh, guys. And I just want to point out that the Eight of Pentacles is, the Nine of Pentacles is in a garden. You see all that growth around them. And it really looks like this person's in a garden too. The Six of Cups. Now, just one other way I can read this is that maybe you really feel like towards the end of the week, you really feel like you have your life together. And you just feel like if you wanted to include more people in your life, you could, and it's all up to you, because you've transformed your life. You've gone through the transition to get where you're meant to be. But the other thing I noticed is that, it talks about a garden, and here you have foliage here, but these three cards have flowers, different flowers. You have lilies here, you have a white rose here, and you have tulips here. And lilies are experience, white rose is transformation, and tulips, I think tulips mean regeneration. I'm going to have to look that one up. It's been a while since I looked up that meaning, but I do. I really feel like you don't feel like you're a child anymore. And I feel like you're in a place of positive growth. You're in a place of positive growth. The other thing that I kind of get is that if you have had to put work into something, if you had to make some tough choices and hard decisions, if you really had to go to court or go to battle for something, you're finally seeing the fruits of that labor. Because the Nine of Pentacles is a lot about harvest too. You're seeing the fruits of your labor. You've done the work. You've done the work, and you're definitely going to feel like you're in your power. And this is a really beautiful week, guys, because and you quite possibly might have like a mature masculine. You're either going to feel really in your good energy, or someone's going to be approaching you, and you're just going to feel like, okay, what do I want? It's all up to me. It's all up to me. All right, guys. So, wow, this is a really great week. This is a good week. All three piles were good. Pile number one, please take it easy. And if this is resonating, again, I highly suggest watching the pile number one. I highly suggest watching the Five of Swords video, because, and the Tower How to Tarot, because there are no bad cards. There are no bad cards. It's just how you navigate that energy. But I thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope that everyone has a wonderful week. If you're so inclined, please stop back by on Tuesday. We're going to be How to Taroting, and this week we are talking about the Knight of Swords. So I hope I can catch you then, and see you then. Bye.